My name is Wilhelm Delano Meriwether, Jr. So I am the second person ever to have lived with that name. I don't know if that's true, but I like to tell myself that. I am the youth pastor here. So usually during first service, I will be teaching the youth. That's like 6th grade through 12th grade. That's a lot. But today I'm here with you guys, right? And I'm happy to be here. As a church, we're going through this topic of soul care. And what we mean by soul care is how has God designed and provided for us to be able to care for ourselves, physically, but also emotionally, and also mentally, right? And just holistically, all the other needs that there might be, right? How can we care for ourselves to be able to be with God, to love Him, and to care for the people around us? Today, my talk is going to be on the topic of integrity. We're getting the structure of how we're approaching this from Pete Cesaro's book, The Emotionally Healthy Church. So that's kind of like giving us, what order are we going to tackle these things in? And this is still part of the overview. As we go throughout the year, we'll go into more detail. But I'm giving the overview of this chapter that was called, he put it like this, Slowing Down to Lead with Integrity. Slowing down to lead with integrity. So, integrity is something that most people would agree is important and it's desirable in a person, and even more desirable in people who are in positions of leadership. To be fair, honestly, I haven't done any research. I haven't collected any empirical data on this, and I haven't looked into any other research projects that may have done so. So at this point, this is just an assumption of mine, all right? It's just an assumption of mine that few people start off with an attitude of just dismissal or disregard when it comes to integrity. Like integrity, I don't need it. It's not that important. You know what? Let's do this, okay? Right now, all of us are going to do some research, right? Just impromptu, just research. But y'all didn't see that coming, right? Come to church, now you got me doing research. Here's what we're going to do. I got questions. I got 2 questions for you. It's really 4 because there's always a why. But it's 2 questions, all right? I want you to ask these questions of somebody next to you, okay? The first question is, do you believe that integrity is a valuable characteristic in a person? Do you believe that integrity is a valuable characteristic in a person? And why? There's that why, right? The second question, does that value change if the person is in a position of leadership? In other words, do you think it is more important or less important, I don't know, if the person is a leader, to have integrity? Why or why not? I'm going to give you a minute to discuss amongst yourselves. We already met each other, hopefully, and don't be shy. No one bites here, I hope. So I'll give you a minute. Ask the other person, do you believe integrity is a valuable characteristic in a person, and why? And does that value change if that person is a leader? And go. Got 15 seconds. All right. Just finish your sentence. Even if you haven't finished your thought, you're out of time. All right, time to collect the data. All right, this is the fun part. Let's collect the data, all right? Just share a little bit about what you heard, maybe what you heard or what you shared yourself about any one of these two questions. Anybody in this section want to share what they heard? Do people value integrity? Does that change if it's a leader? What are you guys, what have you heard? What are the thoughts there? Don't be shy. Y'all thought you were going to come to hear one person talk today. Nope. You can share your own.
I mean, I heard everybody's too.
Go ahead, share it.
Oh,
Share your
okay,
own.
great. Oh, thank you.
I'll allow it.
Great. Good morning, everyone. My name's Krista, and I'm just going to say thank you in advance for welcoming me into your church. I moved here about a month and a half from Chicago, so I'm new to LA. So thank you again, just in advance.
Welcome.
Yeah, I love Chicago, but LA's warm. It's as simple as that for me right now. I'm really glad you brought this up. Gosh, the beginning of church is just awesome too. I'm like, man, does that happen every Sunday? I don't know. Okay, so yes, I do believe that integrity is a valuable or vital characteristic in a person. But I just wanted to share a little story of it's not deep at all, just a little girl though, and it doesn't change if you're in leadership because I think basically it starts early on. So the little girl, I had her hold a piece of jewelry of mine, and I just, was like, just hang on to it, don't lose it. And for me, integrity does go hand in hand with trust, and I did, talk about that with my group. And so, yeah, early on, it's I was teaching her that trust and that integrity because I think they go hand in hand. So she's just a little girl, but I think it's so important to start early on, right?
Yeah,
and that is what those are the people that go in our leadership positions. So it comes full circle.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Man, that's some good stuff there. So sharing that, starts at an early age, and it shouldn't really make a difference whether you're in a position of leadership, because we all should have integrity, right? And then, who knows, you might find yourself in a position of leadership, right? Anybody else want to share what they heard or what they thought about these questions? We need some more data. You can't really just get one. You got at least three.
Okay, so I agree. I think I was saying that it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a leader or a follower, integrity is critically important. But I had to also acknowledge that leaders are in a position to lead a lot more people astray due to their lack of integrity. So it makes it more poignant or pressing for people and leaders to display integrity.
Right. Thank you for sharing. That is a great point. Leaders have influence. It's just part of being a leader, right? We all have influence, but theirs is another scale here, right? Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? We got time for one more input. Any of the sections? Come on, make Lael run around. Do it. Just raise your hand and put it down, and raise it over there and put it down. Anybody else? One last piece of feedback. This is to make our data, our research credible here. All right. Yeah?
Said in my pair that I think of integrity as being related to consistency as well, that who you are doesn't change depending on your circumstance or your context, which then makes it easier for people to trust you because you're the same person if you're with your friends or if you're at school or if you're at work, et cetera.
Consistency. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I think we'll publish this project eventually. I'll let you know how that goes. It sounds to me like most people would agree, at least in this room, that a person with integrity will do what is good. They'll do good things. And they will also not do evil things, right? They'll do good things, and then also they will not do evil things. So that allows you to sort of trust them. Trust came up a lot, right? So there's a sense of morality that we seem to associate with our concept of integrity. And that makes sense. If you go back to the questions, then it makes sense that most people feel that it is valuable and trustworthy to do good and not to do evil. And it even makes more sense that we feel that it is more valuable and good when you're dealing with people who have influence over more people, right? Leaders. Well, the Bible tells us that God designed human beings to live lives of integrity. And guess what? This calling from God hasn't gone anywhere. He still calls human beings to live lives of integrity, even today in 2017. Unfortunately, it has proven to be somewhat difficult, challenging for us to fulfill this calling. I mean, just read the news, listen to current events. You'll find that the world is not lacking for examples of leaders who are technically successful, like they're good at what they do, really good at what they do, and yet they are committing crimes that betray a severe lack of integrity. I mean, honestly, I don't even have to look very far. I look in the mirror, right? And I can see some failures of integrity even in myself. But, that's just the world, right? I mean, that's just me and the world. That's my problem and then the world's problem, right? Those heathens, those pagans who haven't submitted to the will of God, right? That's their problem. Not really. Wrong, actually. We see similar examples of a lack of integrity happening in the church and in Christian households and in Christian institutions and behind closed Christian doors. We urgently need to know how to properly care for ourselves in order to be able to live lives of integrity, in order to be able to lead with integrity, because I think that's where it comes from. We don't care for ourselves well. It's a lack of knowing how to function properly, healthily, right? That leads to these failures in integrity. I don't believe that people just wake up and be like, integrity is not important. I'm gonna just do wrong, right? In a world full of needs and demands and distractions, right, we must learn to slow down and synchronize our pace with God in order to live lives of integrity. So I got an overview for today's sermon. 3 points, all right, we're going to touch. First, we're going to look to define biblical integrity. Right? Then we're going to move on and we're going to look at the pacing of King David's life. And then finally, we're going to try to end, how can we pace ourselves in our lives today, now, for a life of integrity? How can we pace ourselves properly? But first, because I said that was first, that's actually not first. First, I'm going to pray for the message. Then we'll get into it. God, thank you so much for not letting us be anything but the best, for not expecting anything less than good. Thank you for your patience and your provision for us, Lord, to live lives of integrity. And Lord, it's challenging. Would you please show us and teach us through your word, through your spirit, God, how it is that you call us to live with you in a life of integrity, Lord. Show us how we can support one another and understand your plan for this whole thing, God. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.